Hello, Internet. This is BoneCarlos with Knob coming to you live from Whirlwind to bring you another shoutcast kind of thing. How you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. The players today are going to be NinjaDuckBob spawning as the blue Protoss. His opponent is going to be lllKekoalll spawning as the Zerg type player in the red uniform. May the force be with you. Oh, look at that. It looks like there's a little bit of a Star Wars shenanigans going on. And also probably something else that's going on is a Forge Fast expand coming out of the Protoss player. PvZ, Whirlwind, huge map. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm expecting, like you're saying, some kind of a quick expansion, brother. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely a Forge Fast event coming down from the pylon at the natural entrance right there. Expecting a quick expansion here from our Zerg player. And just basically just your macro game.
Yeah, so right now we already see a little bit of a extractor trick pulling out that quicker drone. So I think lllKekoalll is definitely going along that macro style that you were thinking about as well. Probably going to see a his own expansion coming down within the next minute or so. And what I'd like to see out of the Protoss player in this, even though it is a Forge Fast expand, yes, even though it is very basic, you put down your Forge, you expand, what I like to see is a timing of certain things. And he's actually going for a gateway, which I'm very much a fan of. It can be risky, especially if your Zerg opponent reacts quickly enough and just starts swarming Zerglings at your double gateway. Oh, wow, this is something that I haven't really seen ever. What do you think of this?
Oh, this is quite interesting. What I think he might be trying to do is to get these gateways out here, have a little bit less walk distance for him, and maybe use some early zealots to pressure the expansion. Should it ever come down? Right,
and right now we already see a spawning pool first coming out of lllKekoalll. Extractor already down, so as soon as if he puts down 3 workers on that extractor, he will have 100 gas as soon as that spawning pool is finished. And we already see him trying to do some shenanigans with this pro, but he's just scattering around, getting some gas timings, spawning pool timing, but he doesn't manage to block off that hatchery. So this is gold level play, so expect that out of both of these players. The pylon already going to go ahead. It looks like he's trying to complete this wall off between this Vespin Geyser and his own wall. And ooh, look at this double zealot chrono boosting straight off. So your little hunch was right. He is going to go for a zealot pressure right off the bat.
Yeah, we're going to try to force out some extra Zerglings, maybe just do some kind of earlier damage here. I mean, this can be a little bit risky just because of the fact that, you know, you're going to be a little bit behind on tech, still no gas yet type thing, but you know, if you can get this to work, it can do some damage. It's just these zealots move like my grandmother at the age of 80.
You're very right. And look, oh wow, they're actually pretty cool with that little skin going on. I mean, they actually got a pretty cool little detail, especially in the blue. But the thing is, yeah, he is going to put some early pressure, especially with these 2 zealots. But this could actually be switched around, and if he put down that Nexus along with his regular Forge Fast expand, he could actually attack with a single zealot, stalker, and mothership core at 30-40 seconds later and cause the same amount of damage economically to his Zerg opponent, which would mean churning out those extra Zerglings instead of drones. But right now we actually see lllKekoalll kind of overreacting a little bit, putting on double spine crawler at his main base, and I think he just might sack this this expansion.
Yeah, especially if these other 2 zealots that are coming down the way here actually get there and help these other 2 out. If he positions them right in between these minerals here too, he can take quite a bit of Zerglings too.
Yeah, and right now in production we actually see 6 putting down, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and attack at the ramp. Not exactly what you want to be doing. 1 Zergling goes down, 2, 3, 1 zealot goes down, the second zealot goes down. That's going to be 2 zealots are going to go ahead and start attacking, but 2 more reinforcing Zerglings are there. He's going to go ahead and hack away at them 1 at a time. Not exactly what you want to be doing. This hatchery a long time from actually going down, and NinjaDuckBob with the hero micro saving a single zealot, but it finally does go down. He actually managed to save a single zealot and causes quite a bit more Zerglings to be in production. 8, 10 more. This zealot is done. It is over for that early aggression, but I guess what NinjaDuckBob wanted to do was put down the Nexus as soon as possible while creating aggression right off the bat. But again, it could have been done one of 2 ways, what he chose to do originally, or with that, that zealot stalker mothership early on. Would have pretty much, I think, would have accomplished the same.
Yep, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I mean, granted, he did force out a lot of Zerglings, but now these Zealots are gonna have to defend this. If he doesn't, he could lose right here, because he did force out a ton of Zerglings here. We'll just have to see if it was eventually worth it.
Yeah, and we already seen NinjaDuckBob actually had a right idea, putting his Zealots right there to finish up this wall off. But a nice stream actually got into the main base. Zealot is giving chase. Zerglings are just gonna run around circles. Finally, they get us around. Probes are being forced to be pulled off of mining in the main base, and now all the Zerglings are in the main base of NinjaDuckBob. Probes are giving chase along with that Zealot, and remember, a single Zealot and a probe could actually take them down in 2 swipes, and 3 more reinforcement Zealots finally do a warp in out of these gateways, and now lllKekoalll is just running around the map, just delaying mining as long as possible. I don't think he's gotten a single probe kill. He might actually get one right there. Yep, he got 1, 2, 3 probe kills, but that is not what you want to be doing, especially with that many Zerglings in your opponent's base.
Yep. And leaving 4 probes out there alone to actually make this marginally worth it.
Yeah.
Not really what you want to do here. I mean, if you even had just a mothership core through Purifier on the main, and that would pretty much protect it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you had say a mothership core at this point, I mean, it would be really helpful.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's exactly right. Which is why I'm saying it's a little the early opening that I was saying with that Zealot Stalker Mothership Core is a little bit more safe. You have more for defense in case that early aggression doesn't work out, and if you time it just right, you could actually show up with a Mothership Core with 100 energy at your Zerg's front door, and enough for a recall. So if things get a little bit too dicey, a little bit too hairy, you can just always recall back home and A-okay while forcing all those Zerglings that originally were warped in or morphed in.
Yep, and finally we've got warp feet finished up here, so look for the protest to be able to force a little bit quicker now. Going down the path of the Twilight Council. Not sure if he's going to go for Blink or if it's going to end up being some kind of Templar play. I guess time will tell.
Yeah, right now he doesn't really have that much gas banked up. He doesn't have assimilators on this Vespin Geyser just yet. He has plenty in his main base. Looking at income tab, we see both players, a huge morphin by lllKekoalll actually jumps his harvester count up to 43, but on 2 bases, not really what you want to be, especially if you aren't in a PvZ sort of play, or actually a ZV anything aside from a ZVZ. Obviously, you always want to be a base ahead of your opponent, and right now, even though lllKekoalll has the worker count advantage at the moment, I would still count this as NinjaDuckBob being ahead.
Yep. He's really been able to kind of macro behind this, and if he grabs these 2 gases down here, he'll pretty much be on the same, almost the same front as our Zerg player here. And like you're saying, you're definitely correct. Zerg has to be at least a base ahead, just because of how their mechanics work.
Right. And right now we see a Zealot just poking forward, checking out what at the front of lllKekoall's natural expansion. Right now the Spore Crawl is going to shut down this Dark Shrine, while at the same time a Spire is being produced by lllKekoalll. So Dark Shrine not so great for attacking at the moment, but if he warps in those Archons, it's going to completely nullify any sort of Mutalisk play. I mean, Archons just chew up Mutalisks, and having those for defense is going to be very much in the favor of NinjaDuckBob. So finally right now lllKekoalll is taking his 3rd, and at the same time NinjaDuckBob is finally taking both of his similars at his natural expansion. We have a decent amount of saturation, and his main natural expansion is getting up there as well. And the Dark Temple are being morphed into Archons immediately. And both players are going down their respective paths of what they want to do. Gateways are being warped in willy-nilly, along with a single robotics facility. More than likely 4 detection, so he's not going to be able to afford any sort of high immortal play or really Colossus tech at the moment.
Yep, 5 gateways finishing right now, so I'm suspecting some kind of push coming here, just because of the massive number of gateways. We're now looking at 4. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gateways. Well, I guess there could be warp gates here in a few moments, but 9 warp gates altogether. I'd be very surprised if he didn't push very soon.
Right, no, and that's exactly right. I mean, he does have a single Dark Templar just hanging around, and what I love that he's doing with this is he's just acting, taking out right now creep tumors that are spreading, anything that's really just at the extremities of his opponent's base. He's not attacking the ramp because he did see that Spore Crawl at the front, and already with 4 kills to this Dark Templar's name, he has more than likely paid himself off. A Warp Prism on the way as well. He doesn't want to push too forward into that Spore Crawl. Oh, he just let it fall. He was at home. macroing like a boss, which is a-okay, and he's just warping in these Archons immediately, seeing those Mutalisks on the field of play. But with a single Archon and with that Photon Overdrive, I think is what it's called, Photon Overcharge on these next side, that'll be enough for defense.
You need to make sure you get those names right, sir. This is your race we're talking about.
Way to call me out. I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm just teasing.
That's right. When I finally see Mutalisks are going to go ahead and attack those probes, going to bring down 1-2. See the defenses there. Going to go ahead on into the main, warping from those Stalkers. I'm going to go ahead and be a-okay for defense, and at the same time, lllKekoalll is actually expanding behind this, which is a great play by him. He's just going to go ahead and poke and prod, do his damage that he needs to do, as much damage, but not lose units needlessly. But at the same time, oh, NinjaDuckBob bypasses all of the defenses, two Dark Templar in the main base of lllKekoalll. This could end up being kind of bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a Spore Crawler there in position, but he has no units to defend this.
And yeah, one swipe does bring down a drone. Oh, look at that. Workers kill count definitely in the favor now of NinjaDuckBob. 24-25. No more drones, just one left over. He's going to warp in. Actually, he's going to head on home. Going to drop him on the low ground and warp in a couple of more Dark Templar. Oh, harassment galore. Harassment left, harassment right. Harassment even behind me as my cat beats up on my dog. And holy moly, I am sweating just a little bit.
I would have really liked to see him snipe that queen at that third there, and that way he wouldn't have a queen at the main, wouldn't have a queen at the third. That'd be a lot less larva.
Yes, no, very true. But right now we see a huge battle going on. It's going to be pure Mutalisk going up against Stalker. And really, the Mutalisks are really going to go down very quickly. Mutalisks in low numbers like this, not really what you want to be doing. Zealot's going to go ahead and tear apart these drones. Mutalisks are going to try to poke at these Zealots. Finally, lllKekoalll decides to say, you know what, I'm going to take these drones home. I'm taking my stuff. I'm going home. Oh, man. Finally, Zerglings are there, going to get us around on a couple of these Stalkers, but I don't think the units are there for lllKekoalll. He doesn't have the composition there. Now the Archons are getting into the fray. They're going to go ahead and churn up these Mutalisks. Mutalisks are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Stalker on the left, Archon on the right. They go ahead and decide to go up and then back to the Stalkers. Oh, my, oh, my. lllKekoalll is just spread too thin. He has nothing really. An Archon at his natural expansion with a single Zealot as backup. This Archon might win, might not, but really the damage is being done at his third base. lllKekoalll doesn't really know what to do at this point.
Yep, even those eggs for a moment were in danger of getting killed just because of the bio bonus that the Archons do here, but the damage is already done. He lost one of his bases. His main base is nearly mined out, but it doesn't matter because he lost all the drones there. But to his defense, though, NinjaDuckBob is still on just these two bases here, so he's not completely out of the woods yet.
That is very true, and right now both players are getting a considerable amount of a bank. Finally, the last Spinecrawler does go down. 3 more in production. Lex Queen is there. That is gone. 2 more Archons are going to rejoin the rest of his brothers. For Ire, these Stalkers need to be focusing down these Spinecrawlers. In fact, everything needs to be focusing down these Spinecrawlers. But now they finally do get morphed in. 2 more Mutalisks finally get put down. 2 more coming in. Oh, man, like flies to a slaughter. They are being taken down very, very quickly. This Spinecrawler will go down after a couple of more charges from those Psionic Blasts. Queen will go down. I think this might be GG, especially since streaming reinforcements from NinjaDuckBob are coming, swelling across the map.
Yep, he's got reinforcements coming down here, and pretty much Zerglings and Mutants against Archon, Zealot, Stalker, essentially, and that's just not gonna work out.
I mean, Archons just tear apart these lightly defended units. Looking at the resource loss tab, 181, almost 10,000 resource lost by lllKekoalll. Oh, a little over half of that by NinjaDuckBob. It looks like NinjaDuckBob just has free reign over his opponent's base at the moment. Last amounts of static defenses are being taken down. Natural expansion is finally being destroyed. Broodlings are actually doing quite a bit of damage to these Stalkers, but that's a-okay. NinjaDuckBob has plenty of bank left, and what I'm interested to see is, does NinjaDuckBob know about this third expansion? No, he does not know about this third expansion.
Bad rally, though. The drones are going back down when he could have just kept those all in the main.
But finally, the last amount of Archons are actually down, and these Zerglings actually managed to clean up that initial force. But it looks like NinjaDuckBob finally realizes there is a third base and to go ahead and charge right into the middle of it with an Archon. One Archon does go down. The second ones are in danger of going down, but Zealots are there to finally reinforce. A little bit of a micro finally gets the aggro off of this Archon onto that Zealot. Now it's 2 Archons there. Oh, Mutalisk popped just in the nick of time. Zerglings are there to clean it up. Wow, look at that. Now it's 2 base on 2 base. And the worker count, 60 each. Fresh Warpin, fresh Morphin brings it back up to 60 plus. And NinjaDuckBob's main base is pretty much mined out. His expansion actually has plenty of minerals left, especially since we've only had about 10 workers there the entire time. No players. I mean, I know NinjaDuckBob doesn't have any upgrades. Looks like lllKekoalll is on 1-1 for his Zergling forces. Nothing on his Mutalisk count, but still, Mutalisk, Zergling, Archon, Zealot. Ooh, very tough, really to deal with as a Zerg player.
Yep, and since he has lllKekoalll has lair tech out here, I'd really like to see him use these overlords at the close expansions to NinjaDuckBob and just get that creep down. It's gonna deny his expansions by barest minimum 60 seconds, even after.
Yeah.
And since his main base has got to be almost pretty much mined out by now, he'll essentially be in 1 base soon here, and then it's just all about the Zerg expanding all over the place, doing what they do best, stalling for time, and just having a superior economy.
And right now, screw economy. We see Archons churning through Zerglings, churning through Mutalisks. Oh, 1 Archon is left. Does get a couple more blasts before it finally does get taken care of, but there's only 4 Mutalisks left on the field. 3 Stalkers. Mutalisks are forced to retreat. Now Zealot's going to go ahead and churn into the Zerglings. 24 more Zerglings in production. 4 more Dark Templar on the way. 2 Archons are morphed in immediately. Units all over the place. Zealots on the natural expansion again of lllKekoalll. Nothing in the main base because there are 17,000 spine crawlers there. There is a 4th base finally going down in the southern portion of the map. Zergling's going to go ahead and catch these 4 Zealots, but 1-1. Overwhelming numbers, overwhelming upgrades do prevail at the final moment. 30 Zerglings in production.
Yep, and these Zerglings here, those 1-1 upgrades are starting to pay dividends here, but they're even doing pretty well against Zealots, despite the fact that obviously Zealots are really strong against Zerglings.
Yeah, now finally it looks like NinjaDuckBob realizes his predicament, decides to put down his own 3rd base. It actually gets up off the ground even with those Mutalisks providing some sort of harassment. Now he could actually just easily transfer probes and continue on his merry way, but these Zerglings are going to go ahead and do a little bit of a counter aggression on their own and go into NinjaDuckBob's base at the same time that NinjaDuckBob is going into lllKekoall's base. And this might turn into a base trade kind of situation, and after this game, I say I am A-okay with this.
Purifier coming down the way here, though, so these Zerglings are going to start
and they decide to bypass that photonic overcharged Nexus and go straight into the main, but at the same time, NinjaDuckBob was going to attack the 3rd, maybe even the 4th of lllKekoalll, but looks like NinjaDuckBob's main base might get ravaged. There are 5 warp gates there for the easy pickings, and he is just spread way too thin. He does have enough energy for another photonic overcharge, but decides not to use it because, well, I think he's just spread too thin. Keep in mind that both of these players' APM are just going insane. Looking at the APM, the average is 106 for lllKekoalll, 71 for NinjaDuckBob. Both players are just playing at the maximum of their Gold League abilities, and this is pretty much going to go turn down into, I think, a base trade kind of situation.
Yep, it's really going to be kind of interesting, though, because one, he's only really got 2 Archons, so they're going to have some darn good positioning, and unfortunately, there's a lot, like you're saying, there's a lot of spine crawlers at the main here. 5 spines, and by the time they get through these units down here, these units are kind of worn down.
Look at that ramp at the main. I love seeing this as a Protoss player. Oh, man, that was just beautiful for the 15 seconds as well as survived. Oh, wow, all those Zerglings got churned up. Looking at the main base of lllKekoalll, yeah, the spine crawler count is just a little bit too high. You're going to go ahead and peck away at the Archon. The Archon finally does go down. Zerglings are just obliterated. These Zealots are going to go for Ire and go back to Ire. And fun fact, did you know that when Zealots die on the battlefield, they don't actually die, they get teleported back to Ire?
Makes me kind of wonder then, where was that tech when Phoenix died in Brood War?
He died as a Dragoon, sir.
Okay, so it sounds like I'd rather stay a Zealot my whole life. You never die and they just get warped.
Well, that
back.
is true, but the thing is with Zealots, if they are disfigured in any shape, way, or form, if they can't perform their function as a Zealot, they get warped, turned into Dragoons as a robotic kind of thing, exoskeleton. That's what happens. So if a Zealot gets dismembered, arms, legs get chopped off, which is what happened to Phoenix. He gets turned in. They get put into the Dragoon exoskeleton, and I'm assuming they just lose their teleportation abilities at that time. And we see a single Archon, a hero Archon, crossing the map. I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah, we'll have to find out here. And finally, KeKoalll is doing just what I predicted, grabbing 2 more bases kind of down towards the south part of this whirlwind map here. And then he's still got, in this 3rd base, it is going to have three spines and a spore up here, so it's going to be pretty darn safe, I would say. Oh, and finally, a Roach Warren 2. Now, this is something I think has been long overdue. I mean, granted, Roaches aren't fantastic against Archons, but if you just focus fire them down, they'll drop like flies. Great against Stalkers. So this may be finally what we're looking for here. Grabbing some expansions, and Roaches are really cheap too. On top of that, he can get a big
yeah. I mean the good old patented 28-30 minute Roach Warren. I mean, really is a staple of the Zerg playbook that I feel has been forgotten even up to the pro levels. But at the same time, I mean, both these players are essentially broke in their eyes. I mean, like I said, I don't want to stress this as a bad thing, but this is gold level play. So seeing a bank of about 800, 300 minerals slash gas isn't really too uncommon, because that's at the league that I am at right now. And it looks like NinjaDuckBob is just going to go ahead and push forward. A singles Archon gets just surrounded, taking that almost immediately along with his partner. Zealot's finally there to churn up those Zergling accounts with this Archon backup. Might be a little bit too much. KeKoalll noses backs off. Food count 45, NinjaDuckBob 81. Looking at the resource left tab, workers killed count 70 by NinjaDuckBob, and that's just attributed to the fact that NinjaDuckBob has been taking the fight to KeKoall's base, really. And finally, oh, the Zerglings attack the Zealots just outright, and this might be it. 7 Roaches in production. They're going to be finished up in a few seconds, but I do not think they will be there in time to actually matter. They might stream in 2 3s at a time and get picked off, but static defenses are down. Archon there still has plenty of shields, about 140. Zealots finally get into the Roaches and get churned up. Oh no. Roaches are there in for backup. The Archon has 15-0, finally goes down. Now it's just Stalker versus Roach, with these Zealots just churning away at these drones. 82 workers killed. Oh my, sometimes I just love these kind of games because they just go left, right, up, down, and even into the nth dimension, man.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, despite the fact, like you're saying, yeah, this is a gold level game, I mean, there's the lower league games still always tend to have like these crazy shenanigans that you don't see anywhere else, and they're really hard to predict who's going to come out
and
on
right
top.
Now the income tab shows 15 harvesters for KeKoalll, 37 for NinjaDuckBob, but I just think these guys, I mean, KeKoalll is just basically broke. You know, bordering on 100 minerals. NinjaDuckBob still has quite a bit of bank, 100, 1,000, dropping down as he warps in Zealot after Zealot. Zealot Archon, man, I love that. Isn't that the prettiest thing in the world to you? I mean, I know you're a Terran, but still, I just like that. Zealot's in the front. Oh, Archon's blasting from the back. That is just great to my eyes.
I would rather deal with the classic death ball than Zealot Archon. So yeah, I really don't. I really don't.
Yeah,
like
and
it.
here we go. Like you were saying, Roaches aren't the greatest, but as long as you get a nice surround, focus fire, Archons will go down, especially to that focus fire of the Roaches. And look at this. I mean, NinjaDuckBob has just forces just scattered all around the map. Classic F2 for those that you don't know. In Heart of the Storm, if you ever find yourself in this kind of situation where you're pulled left, right, up, down, and even into the nth dimension, hit F2, it clicks all of your army units, and just aim move them so that way you know exactly where your army is at. You don't leave any kind of stragglers behind, unless you're in the top tip, you know, of the echelon kind of skill where you need those, you know, that one Zealot right at this choke point.
Yep. You know, that is actually an interesting tip. I vaguely remember someone mentioning that there was a button that could do that, but I have yet to utilize it.
It's actually very fun. I was actually doing an FFA earlier where I just went mass Zerglings. I had 237 Zerglings on the field at one point. Didn't know where they were all at. I just hit F2, right-clicked, and then I just see them all streaming on my minimap. Oh, it was a great thing to see. You got me, GG KeKoalll. He finally taps out. He knew he was in for it, but still, this is a great game. I really had a lot of fun casting this. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. If there's any tips you'd like for us to give to make these replays a little bit more enjoyable for you, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. I know I am tip-top A+ day 9 Tastosis level. So give the tips over to Knob because he's just. If you guys got one of your own replays you'd like for us to cast, feel free to upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.sc is very, very popular. GG Tracker is also getting up there in skill level. Currently, right now, I think it's at platinum level. Other than that, that's it for me. Knob, do you have any parting words of wisdom? Very true, very true. That's it for me. I am out of here. We are out of here. Later.
Later.